best music on the planet. Let's go. Listen to Shark.fm.
Imagine home Wi-Fi that simply works. With TDS Wi-Fi Plus, every nook and cranny of your home is blanketed with a wireless mesh network, providing you with relentlessly reliable coverage in every room. They say water is life, and life is full of adventure. Jump in with us at Safe Splash and Swim Labs. The adventure starts here. Let's book this nice-looking hotel. Nobody here, except we are. We're in your pocket. All you need to enjoy your stay is our app. What's a meal made of? Balanced, wholesome options that you'll love just as much as your kids do. With better-for-you choices like low-fat milk, Go-Gurt, low-fat strawberry yogurt with 25% less sugar. Balanced, wholesome choices. That's what we're made of.
Hello and welcome to the Mama Rose Show with your host, Mama Rose herself. And today we have a fabulous guest on the show, Brianna Wanlass. And I'm just so excited to have her here with us. How are you doing, my love?
Hello, Mama Rose. I'm doing very well. Thank you. How are you?
Oh, we're surviving the best that we can. You know, this whole quarantine is just too much.
It is. You are right. It's very surreal, but we're all getting through it, I hope.
So far, so good. So I want to learn about who you are, and I want our viewers to learn who you are because you are a woman of many talents. So let's just jump in.
Well, I'm delighted to be on the show with you. I'm very flattered. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So where do you currently live, and where are you originally from?
I live in Brooklyn, New York, kind of on a border of Queens and Brooklyn, Bushwick and Ridgewood. So just across the street, it's Queens. We've lived here, my husband and I, for about 11 years so far, and it's been just amazing. We moved here in 2009, March 1st, 2009. So it's been that long, 11 years. And I'm originally from the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area. Grew up for the first 13 years of my life in Los Angeles, an area called, or was once called Canoga Park. I don't know what it's called now. A little bit of suburbia there. And in, what was it? I think 1991, my family and I moved north, and we ended up in the San Francisco Bay Area. And there I lived in two cities, Los Altos and Mountain View, during that time. And then, in 2009, my husband and I moved here to Brooklyn, New York.
Now, who is the Brianna Wanlass?
Well, I'm an artist. I'm a visual artist. I'm a voice talent. I dabble in a lot of things. Throughout most of my life, as far back as I can remember, I've been drawing and painting. So I've done a lot of that. I've made a lot of artwork, mostly acrylic painting, some oil, some mixed media works. And that's mostly been a hobby. I have sold some of my work and have had commissions and stuff like that. And also I'm a musician and a singer. So I've been over the years in a few rock bands, a handful of rock bands, singing and playing guitar. These days, record at home and make my own music.
Who is or was your inspiration to either get into this business or just in life itself?
Music has always been a part of my life. When I was a young kid, I have memories of listening to my mom sing and play on her acoustic guitar. And when I was about 12 years old, a neighbor came over with their acoustic guitar And my dad started playing it, and I had no idea that he could play. And I just remember being hypnotized by this talent. Um, and I said, can I try? Can I try that? And ever since then, I fell in love with guitar and writing music. And I'm a child of the 90s. No, I was a teenager of the 90s. So going to high school during that time, I was obsessed with grunge music. And that music was very inspiring for me. Grunge music and classic rock. And then I discovered metal and punk music. All of that I adore. And, as I got older, inspiration has come from funk, jazz, opera, choir music from all over the world. And then especially when you want to talk about singers, I love all sorts of, oh gosh, I'll bring up Shirley Bassey. She's kind of that big band singer, famous for her Dr. No James Bond song. And then there's singers like, Joni Mitchell, that beautiful, soft, folky, jazzy type of vocals I adore. And of course, I love rock and metal and punk. So singers like Nina Hagen inspire me a lot. And even, I'm inspired by male vocalists who really use their voice in an aggressive, raspy way. So over the years, I've played with that when recording my own music. So I'm inspired by a lot of types of music, and it's kind of involved when I record, letting my emotions and those inspirations come together. And I do my best to create my own unique sound.
Can you tell us more about your voiceover experiences? I know that's something that you've been, I don't know if it's dabbling in or if this is a regular career item for you, but there are plenty of people out there interested that want to learn about this and what you've done. And again, they're going to get a sample of this.
Wonderful. That's wonderful. Yeah, voiceover is this niche profession that I've always been curious about since I was young, just growing up as a kid and noticing people on the radio, voices on animation shows, commercials, and just always thinking, wow, that's kind of cool. That's a neat job. And for years, I never pursued it or looked into it at all. I just didn't think about it. I was focused mostly on music and singing. It was only in the last couple of years that I really started researching more about it and discovering that, hey, this feels like something I would have so much fun doing. And so about 2 years ago, I really began doing the work, studying, practicing, finding other voice artists, reaching out to them and asking them questions, and they give me tips and feedback about how to get started. And so far, it's only been 2 years, so I'm still learning a lot, and it's been challenging at times because it is a business and it's a profession. If you want it to work out, you really do need to take it seriously and spend time working on it every day, like anything you want to get good at, anything you'd like to get paid for. And so I've thus far had a handful of little jobs, which have been wonderful. It felt amazing the first time I heard my voice on something. So I'm working harder towards building eventually a client base. And the next step really is for me to have a website and figure out how to promote myself. So there's the fun aspect of it. There's the performing and getting into the character and acting and performing, and then there's the business side, which I'm very trepidatious about, but I'm learning. The more I learn about it, the more comfortable I'm getting, and so I have confidence that it'll go somewhere someday, and hopefully pay my bills.
And now that we're under quarantine, there's plenty of time to be dabbling in things that we don't know about, all good things, of course, but, website design and, seeking the right avenues to go down. So that's amazing. And it's amazing that it's only been 2 years that you've been doing voiceovers.
Yes, it's a fun and exciting and scary adventure, trying to do something you've never done before. And I'm somebody who believes that as we get older, as the years go by, we need to keep learning new things. And so that's how I'm approaching this, even though I'll have rough days where I'm auditioning and nobody's responding. I look at it as this is a learning process. I'm making mistakes, but I'm also learning from those mistakes. And this is a part of what life's all about.
So true about, just getting out there, trying new things. I mean, something that I have said for years is that if you do not try, you'll never know. So do it, just try it. So.
Mama Rose, you said it.
Jumping back to your singing, what was either your first singing gig or your favorite singing gig?
Well, my first singing gig was probably in some bar in San Francisco or somewhere in the Bay Area with my first band. I think that was and we played hundreds of shows, I think. Just a lot of bars and a lot of, festivals. And all of those shows were so fun and I loved it. I was just expressing myself on stage. So those moments are dear to me. I was over the top the first time I heard my voice. And it happened to be, this was my first job at a vintage clothing store I was just recently working at, but now they're not open. My boss is this wonderful lady who is a dear friend of mine too, and she always encouraged me to pursue voiceover. And one day while working at the store, she said, "Hey, how about you do something for the store? Something we can play over the speakers, some kind of store announcements." And I said, "Really? Oh my God, of course, I'd love to." So I did a handful of little, customer service in-store announcements, like when we close and blah, 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 stuff like that. And the first time they played over the speakers, I was just like, I love this. Wow, this is something I want to keep doing. It solidified for me that excitement and that moment where I realized I did it. I actually made this happen. Solidified for me that I really want to pursue voiceover and anything voice talent related. It just makes me excited every time I hear my voice, whether in music or in a voiceover project. It just makes me feel so fulfilled and happy.
You're also a visual artist. And what are some of the specialties that you work on?
I like to dabble in paint, and mostly I've worked with acrylic, some oils in the past, but mostly acrylic and usually on wood canvas. I like the texture of wood canvas, and I think acrylic is a wonderful paint. You have a lot of control with acrylic. I've done mixed media things too, kind of collage work with vintage print. And I've cut out things from old Life magazines and create collages and try to tell stories or create themes with those images. My visual work, my paintings, my mixed media work, they usually have themes of love and anger and pain um, usually kind of esoteric. Um, I kind of try to tell stories with my work. I've been told that by people who love my work. They say it's kind of like there's some story you're trying to tell. And, I really enjoy hearing that because I love anyone's interpretation of my work when they're enjoying it. Um, and that applies to my music as well.
With the brilliance of you and all of your talent, do you have any other outlets that you work with, such as television, film, or stage work?
Yes. I've recently joined a casting agency in New York doing background work, and it's been so much fun. And I've worked on 3 shows so far. Filmed mostly in Manhattan and in Brooklyn, so they've been easy to get to. And I'm literally doing what it's background work. So I'm that person in the background pretending to, talk to somebody else, or I'm just walking by. And that's been a lot of fun. I worked on New Amsterdam, and I also worked on Law and Order, which was a lot of fun. And I also recently worked on a show that's in the making. It's going to be a Stephen King miniseries. And that was the most fun. I watched Clive Owen pretend to vomit about 100 times during the shoot. And it's going to be a Stephen King show, so it's going to be really interesting and probably scary. And I played an audience member who reacted to that sudden vomiting again and again. So it was a lot of so that was a lot of fun. So background acting has been a way for me to improvise and play with character development. Even though it's just background acting, there you do have to act. You have to get into the character, and that's been just such a wonderful new experience for me. I really enjoy it.
I can actually attest to the Law and Order episode. I have never wanted pizza more in my life since I saw that episode. So you were brilliant.
Thank you. And I also, I'm also a huge fan of the annual Coney Island Mermaid Parade, which is this wonderful event held every year, held at right by the water, Coney Island Boardwalk. It's amazing. Everybody gets together, and it's this parade that I'm a part of. And what people do is they dress up as mermaids or anything to do with ocean life. And I've done it 5 times so far, and it's just this wonderful event, and it really feels like you're a celebrity. It's amazing. People will run up to you and insist you take a picture with them. And I have progressed over the years. My costumes have become a little more elaborate, a little more detail at each time, and it's so fun playing with makeup and building the costume and building headpieces and putting things together. So I have a lot of fun with that kind of visual expression and creativity. I'm hoping this year's Mermaid Parade, which is held in June, won't be canceled, but it's possible. They'll probably reschedule, but I'll wait. I'm patient.
Your talent is phenomenal, and I can see, through your artwork and music and now even Mermaid Parades. So keep it up.
I will, Mama Rose. Thank you.
So before we have to depart and say goodbye, I just wanted to ask you, for the aspiring artists out there and singers, writers, drawers, whatever, what would you say to them? What advice would you give to them?
I say that it's important to be kind to yourself. Being an artist, trying to be an artist that makes money is very, very challenging, and in this day and age, incredibly competitive in any field of art, visual, music, cinema, anything, voiceover. There's a lot of competition now, and we can internalize that and tell ourselves awful things that are toxic. So my advice is to always be very gentle and kind to yourself. And when you need to create space, there's days when I don't want to do something, I don't do it. I let myself feel vulnerable. I let myself have those feelings and I let them pass. If you don't do that, it's kind of a form of being always in a state of meditation and a state of self-love. And, it's about expressing yourself. So I want to say, just stay in tune with your soul and your heart, and be kind to yourself and give yourself the time that you need to start a project and complete a project. Give yourself the time that you need. Take all the time you want. Life is a journey, and you're meant to go on this journey, and you're meant to make mistakes. So don't be cruel to yourself. Throw it out the door. Throw it out the window. And just keep going.
Thank you so much for joining us today on the Mama Rose Show. It's been such an honor and a pleasure to have you as our special guest today.
Thank you so much, Mama Rose. This was a delight. I had a wonderful time. Thank you.
Well, until next time and future excitement with Brianna Wanlass, we look forward to seeing you again soon and wishing you all the best in your future endeavors and making it through this lovely experience that we're going through.
Thank you so much, Mama Rose. I wish you the best too. Stay healthy and stay safe.
Thank you, viewers, and Brianna, and we will see you next time.
Thank you so much. Thank you, viewers.